All right, what is up, guys? Let's get straight into it. I have already done commodities for today, so I'll just quickly walk you through it. I've got this counter context short, which I'm looking at the moment. Don't really think it's going to confirm or give us an option, but you never know, I could be wrong. Essentially, all I'm targeting here is a Model 1. Reason for a Model 1 is because there's no quality third tap POI from a Model 2 perspective here. There's no extreme supply, there's no extreme liquidity, so I need a Model 1. And yeah, it's a low time frame scalp, so I will allow that. Asia low is below us, as you can see. Asia high has already been grabbed. We're already in a semi-high time frame liquidity POI, supply POI, so all I can hope for is that we just slowly move up, grab that high once more, and then get that convincing break, and then we can short and target range low, but then de-risk and then let it run to the Asia low, and that would be TP1, TP2. That is the plan for gold. Keep it simple. We'll look at silver. Not a whole lot going on in silver just yet. It's a bullish environment, so it's a bullish environment. We're leaving a nice buy side liquidity trail. We've also got Asia highs above. So the only thing that I can really plan for is for an accumulation model, kind of in this no man's land, and see if we get something like this. It's not going to be a given, but we might get it, we might not. There's just no real POI for us to reject from here. As you can see, we do have liquidity below and we do have demand below, but for us to accumulate here, we're essentially accumulating in no POI. So it's not really a common occurrence that this happens. That's why it's a lot more of a sketchy range, but we'll see what happens. We'll leave it as is. And as you can see, most likely we're not even going to get it, because I have a feeling we're actually going to continue going higher and invalidate this range quite quickly. So we will see. And then for oil, somewhat of a similar storyline, but it looks a little bit better. We're in a bullish environment. We just bounced from demand. Pretty self-explanatory as to what I'm looking for here. A very basic accumulation. Yeah, we'll see if it happens. But yeah, we're still bullish. We're still trending bullish. And the context for silver and gold has not changed one bit either. So we will leave that as is. Give me a second. Just got another screen. Okay. Bear with me. All right, NZD CAD. We're still bullish, as you can tell. I don't want to do anything else here. Also, FYI, I have actually gone in this morning and outlined all the weekly opens, so these have already been done. I don't want to do anything else for NZD CAD until we get a move up into these POIs, because yeah, we're approaching a high time frame third tap POI. So I don't want to be trading any low time frame models just yet, because it can be very, very risky. So yeah, I would just be a little bit patient here. I wouldn't really try and short anything locally when we're so close to our third tap, so we'll leave that as is. The only thing that I will do is just mark out this demand POI. Yeah, it's valid demand, so we'll leave that as is. I definitely would not be wanting to trade this from a distribution range locally, not at all, when you look at the context. Are we still bearish on the daily? Yes, we are. Yep. We'll leave, yeah, NZD CAD as is. GBP JPY. We are still bullish, just an FYI. On the hour, the 4 hour might be bearish. That is correct. We're also approaching this POI. Could there be a local distribution here, potentially? Asia low is the range low, which I like. We've grabbed the Asia high in the London opening. I would like this demand to be mitigated first and foremost. Yeah, before we can look at any sort of distributions. There is some refined demand in here, which you can use. I will very much so allow that. Yeah. Oh, I obviously need a demand mitigation first before we can look at this from a distribution PI. or distribution point of view. If we can get a model one mitigating the supply, that would be perfect. So let's see what happens. I will move GBP JPY to the top. Euro USD. Yeah, and then contextually, just gonna close some tabs. It's a big candle. Contextually on NZD card, yeah, nothing had changed there. Okay. And then yeah, contextually on GBP JPY. Nothing had changed there either. Yeah, still bearish on the daily. If we can mitigate this if this can be just one big week, then that would be really, really nice. A manipulation move. So let's see what happens. But yeah, I need it to start moving back down like pretty much now. If this can just be one big week, then that would be perfect. But let's see if it is one big week. All right, we'll go to Euro USD. Yes, we are in a very, very much so bullish environment here. Yeah, it's kind of awkward to draw this, to draw a range here. It really is. You can sort of get away with this. Range high is the Asia high. Yeah, I'll leave this as is. It's an iffy range because to draw accumulation range, you need to draw them. Yeah, it's just not the right range. It just is not the right range to draw. You draw accumulations in a downtrend, but this is not a downtrend. It's like, yeah, I'm going to remove this range because it is not the correct, it's just not the correct range pool. Yes, an accumulation range here definitely favors the context, but we can't really draw a clean range at the moment, and that is too low for me to draw. Yeah, like if I draw this as a... Yeah, it's just not valid. It is just not valid. Yeah, I'll leave this as is and see if, yeah, just see how this price action progresses, but I can see us going higher because there's a lot of liquidity above. There is a lot of liquidity above, so it's more so like a matter of if, not when. I feel like we might grab that wickless candle and then push up higher. But yeah, only time will tell. All right, USD CHF. I think we can all see a potential range developing here. Just how good it is, I can't really tell. We're definitely very much so still bullish on the hourly and on the 2, and we are still bearish on the 4. Actually, no. Because that is the 4-hour high, which has been broken to bullish. Yeah, so we are bullish on the 4-hour as well. So yeah, it's already starting to look like a semi-counter context move, this, if we are to look for a distribution. The daily time frame has to still be bearish, so yeah. But yeah, look, let's see what happens. I think the Asia low is in a nice position, and it is. Just chilling at the range low. And yeah, that's all we can do for USD CHF. Leave that as is and be patient. GBP USD. Yeah, well, we're still bullish. Weekly open is below though, so I can see us going to that weekly open, which is obviously is today's weekly open. We're leaving a nice buy side liquidity curve as well. Yeah, at the moment there's not much for me to do on GBP USD. It's a very awkward area of the chart. And we've also SFP'd that weekly high, as we've talked about in yesterday's weekend pre-planning session. Yeah, there's just not much more to... There's really not much more to really do here. I will leave this as is. Let's look at AUD CHF. We've pumped through supply. What is Euro USD doing? Has grabbed the weekly open. Yeah, well, we're still bearish on AUD CHF. Maybe we get a distribution. Maybe. We'll see. Needs a lot more time though, so just be patient with this. I wouldn't really be trying to trade any sort of local ranges in here. I would just be patient. Asia low and high has already been taken as well, so that's kind of like a confirmation for today to just leave this chart as is and not trade it. Just plot the POIs and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less to do here. Yeah, sweet. We're also in a fairly heavy supply POI, so expect a rejection. Somewhat heavy. After S&Ping the weekly as well, so yeah, all favors for a short here, really, guys. But yeah, let's just see how we close. Technically speaking, you could have a little whack off in whack off, tap 1, tap 2, tap 3. But yeah, let's see if we can get this local model first, and we will go from there. AUD USD. Yeah, still bullish. Are we still bearish on the 4? No, we're bullish. Oh, sorry, yeah. And we are bearish on daily because that is our daily high. Not much to do here, to be honest. Locally speaking, not much is happening as well. I'm just going to have to wait for some better price action here. That is really all. We're leaving behind buy-side liquidity, so we can expect to go higher. We filled our open gap. We can also go lower because there is demand, so yeah. I wouldn't really trade anything here. There's also nothing to trade, but yeah. Let's just wait for some models to develop. And that is that. Euro GBP. Obviously, you can see here all these SFPs. Yes, we are still bullish on the 4 hour. That's fine. And we are, yeah, still bullish on the hour. Yeah, there's just not much to do here, honestly. We've got our alert set. Nothing to really chart at the moment. Let's just be patient and wait for something to get swept. There's also no real buy-side return to zone forming, so there's a chance we might break to bearish for now. Oh, and then yeah, if we break to bearish on the hourly and 4 hour, it's a fairly, all of a sudden it's a fairly bearish context, so just be mindful there. And yes, we do still have this demand below. But yeah, let's see how we break. In terms of any POIs up here, not really. We've kind of grabbed everything. Not a lot to do. Patience, patience, patience. Yeah, fairly bearish here, minus the weekly. Still bearish. The only thing that I would look at to distribute is maybe here, but I feel like we've kind of passed that from a distance perspective. Like, yeah, tap 1 to tap 2 is 4 hours on the dot. Tap 2 to present, 4 hours and 10. So yeah, we're not, this is not happening. Maybe if we're lucky, we get something like this. That could be a range, potentially. That is the only thing that I would look at for this pair today, with Asia low being below and Asia high being range high. Asia high, boom, and Asia low, boom. Yeah, let's just see what happens. Not much more to be done here. This can be deemed as supply, but it's, at least from now I'm seeing, it's not the cleanest, as it has been mitigated on the lower time frame. It might not even be at all supply. No, I'm not counting this as supply, not at all. Look, if you look at it up close, it's all been mitigated. Sweet, let's move on to GBP and ZD. Well, this looks bearish. How bearish is it? Yeah, still bearish. I will allow a range pull from here. Well, The range low is the Asia low. Asia high hasn't actually been grabbed yet, so I'm liking to think that that should get grabbed soon. Daily, is the daily still bullish? Yes, very much so. Yeah, we'll leave this as is and see what happens. There is liquidity above, so just be mindful of that. And also, I don't like this in-between high here. It's not really high, but yeah, I just don't like this as a whole. So be susceptible to price going higher, and then maybe we can catch a distribution here. Boom. Can very much so get that just because of the liquidity above, and then also the supply above. So I would not be rushing too short just yet from this range here. As much as Asia high and range high are, as much as range low and range high are Asia low and Asia high, just be a bit mindful there. Because yeah, and the supply POI in itself isn't the cleanest. I will double check this. Yeah, it's just, you know what, this is honestly just not supply. Plain and simple. It is terrible. Alright, we'll leave this as is and move on. Context remains the same. USD CAD. We're pumping here. We're very much so bullish on the hour. We're probably bullish on the 4 hour as well. And then on the daily, there is still a slight CME gap here left. Anticipate for it to get filled at some point. But yeah, outside of this, not much that I want to do. We've grabbed liquidity, which is great. It is an expansive move. It's obviously, yeah, it's an expansive move. There's no real demand left behind either. Unless there's something in here. Okay, this might actually be valid demand. It's honestly been mitigated, so yeah, not really valid demand. So I will remove it. Yeah, not much to do for USD CAD at the moment. Patience, patience, patience. GBP AUD. Still bearish. Still bearish. What's the daily saying? Daily is still bullish. And then your weekly is still bearish. That is correct. Maybe we get a little distribution like here. I will plan for it. Asia low is below, as you have seen. Not much more to do. And Asia high is the range high. Alerts have been set. No real POI to reject from here. Unless you look at this. Well, it might be valid supply. Yeah, that's valid supply. I allow that. I very much allow that. Yeah, we'll leave this as is and see what happens. USD JPY. Still focused on the high time frame range at play here. Yeah, definitely focus on the high time frame range at play here, which is nice. It's really nice. I wouldn't be doing anything locally just yet. I will chart the Asia low just in case. Other than that, yeah, pretty happy with how this is playing out. Yeah, context is still pretty much the same, fairly bearish. So yeah, I would like a distribution here. We'll move this up to the top. And then last but not least, AUD CAD. Well, we've pushed through supply. We're still in a very, very bullish context. Not a lot that can be done here from what I'm seeing at the moment. Yeah. Maybe there's some overlapping demand, maybe. Okay, not valid. It's been mitigated. Yeah, not a whole lot for AUD CAD, so we'll leave this as is. And yeah, that is it for today. So this was our main commodities focus, which is not leaving the return to zone that we want into a Model 1. But yeah, still we'll leave that as is. You know what, I may as well put an alert in case the range becomes invalid. Boom. And yeah, silver, this was all that we were looking for. Oil, this is all that we're looking for. And then for Forex, This is pretty invalid now. I'm not too interested in it. Definitely wouldn't look at it from a PO3 schematic because it is too low time frame. PO3 schematics are a lot higher time frame moves, so we can remove all that. And then yeah, the only other one is pretty much this USD JPY short, potential short, which is honestly looking really good contextually speaking. So we'll leave this as is and see how price develops throughout the rest of the day. All right, thanks for watching, guys. If you have made it this far, subscribe. Hopefully you have been enjoying the content, you find it useful, you've been able to apply it yourself. That's probably the most important thing. See if you can apply it yourself. If you've watched me long enough, you can figure out how I trade. This is actually semi-decent. It's just a nice return to zone, that's it. But yeah, if you've watched me long enough, or if you want to go back and watch all the other videos that I have created, then yeah, you'll be able to figure out my system and apply it yourself. So yeah, that's it. I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.